Have you ever felt like the only way that you can lose weight is if you give up your favorite foods? People tell me this all the time. They say things like, I can lose weight, I just have to never eat junk food again. What if I told you that that doesn't have to be true for you? For a week straight, I ate all of the foods that I was craving, the pizza, the desserts, the snacks, and I still lost weight. In this video, I'll show you exactly how that's possible, and I'll also be breaking down the 5 tactics that can help you enjoy the foods you love in moderation, without binge eating and without derailing your progress. And this isn't just theory, this is the exact approach I use myself after struggling with years of yo-yo dieting, and it's the same method that I use for some of my online clients as well. But first, let's take a look at what the week looked like of me eating my cravings every single day. I got Jack in a Box, and I was gonna eat in there, but there was some bums fighting and it was getting intense and it was small, so it was a little stinky. Anyways, I digress. I decided to find somewhere outside to have my meal. Here it is. We got the curly fries and the breakfast Jack. We are here for day 2 of cravings. We are going to the driving range to hit, and the thing that I want is here, and it's absolutely delicious. Mmm. They're really good.
Last time I was like, you know what, I feel like today.
Day 3, and I love pizza. We have backyard barbecue chicken pizza. Delicious. Mmm. 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 It is really good though.
At least 110.
Yeah.
But there's no
Nutrients in there. Chocolate caramel brownie halo top. I was gonna go with Ben & Jerry's half baked, best ice cream in the world. But I want to eat more volume, and so I'm gonna eat this whole pint instead of just 1.5 servings. That's what I wanted today, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's kind of rude.
Risk takers for the optimists, pessimists, exhibition.
Hear what?
Cross through the Mandalay Bay casino floor. Normal size shower. Exciting toilet painting. I mean, everything feels
A little bit of
because
this.
they scale the corners of the pure.
So my first weigh-in this week was 170.4 pounds. This is the beginning of week 5 of my fat loss phase, and my average weight last week was 169.97 pounds. Now, this is important context for you to understand, because some people on the internet who do things like this will skew the numbers so that the end result looks so much more dramatic than it actually was. They can easily do this by things like eating a lot of food right before they weigh in, or doing it at the beginning of a fat loss phase, because in the beginning you'll be dropping a lot more water as well. Now, the problem with that is that it doesn't give you a realistic and honest example of what it would look like if you did something similar for yourself, which could be discouraging and might even lead you to wanting to give up. And that does no one any good besides that person who's trying to sell their program or sell their coaching. So I want you to be aware of things like this. At the end of this week, my average weight was 168.54 pounds. That's a 1.4 pound drop, which is the perfect rate of loss for me. Right now, I'm aiming for 0.5% to 1% of my total body weight of loss per week, which is the rate of loss that I would recommend you shooting for. It's a sustainable and safe rate of loss. All right, here are the 5 tactics or mindset shifts that can help you control your cravings and reduce your overeating so that you can still enjoy your favorite foods while losing weight. Number 1, have the things you're craving while they're small. Whenever I have a craving, let's use pizza for example, because that's my favorite food. I will get this little thought in my head, and I'll think, man, I really want some pizza. And I'll push that off, which I've done many, many times. And this is why I know it happens. I will continue to think about it day after day after day. And every day that passes, that craving will grow and grow and grow until I crack. And then I also get some wings. And then I also have dessert. And now the floodgates are open. Most people try to fight cravings until they can't anymore. And then they end up binging. So what's the secret? Don't wait until you're starved or your cravings are unbearable. Have them while they're still small and while they're more manageable. If I would have had that pizza when I thought of it, I probably would have been okay with just 2 slices instead of the entire pizza. So what is something you can take away from this, an action item for you to start implementing into your life? Don't cut things out of your diet. When you're trying to build a new healthy relationship with someone, what do you need? You need some communication, you need quality time. And it's the same thing when you're trying to build a healthy relationship with food. If you keep pushing these things away and you avoid them, you're not building that relationship. And so this is where we're going to use a little bit of Jedi mind tricks here. Start to tell yourself you can have whatever you want, but let's put a little bit of friction between you and your trigger foods. What does that mean? It means don't keep them in the house. So if you want some chips, go to the store, get a bag. If you want a little bit of ice cream, go to an ice cream shop, get a scoop. What this does is it puts a little bit of space between you and that impulse to want to eat something. And that way you now have space to think about if it's actually what you want. A lot of times these habits that we have around food are done unconsciously and impulsively. So if we can put a little bit of space between you and that impulse, we can start to make better choices. It gives you an opportunity to make that choice. Number 2, adopt the mentality of and, not or. So have that pizza and a little bit of lean protein and veggies. Have that dessert after your whole meal if you still want it. I baked chocolate chip cookies a few nights ago for this video because that's what I was craving. Instead of just eating the cookies, I had dinner first and then I had the cookies after. Because I ate and gave my body what it needed, I got some protein to fill me up, some veggies to do the same, I got some carbs. And because of that, I was able to control myself around these cookies so much more instead of eating the entire package, which I could easily do, unfortunately. You want to know why you feel so out of control with your food choices? It's because you're starving yourself. Of course, if you don't eat till 2 p.m., you'll feel out of control. You're also not eating enough protein. And you also have some beliefs or ways of thinking that don't serve you and your health and fitness goals. But that's why we're here, to change that. So if you ever feel like weight loss is just a big list of rules, you can have pizza or you can lose weight. You can have dessert or you can stay on track. That all or nothing mentality is exactly what leads to binges. So what's the fix? Start thinking pizza and protein, cookies and balance. All right, so takeaway for this is to fill your tummy. Give your body what it needs first, and then you can enjoy the things that you want. You can give your taste buds a little party. Number 3, reframe the cravings. Most people see cravings as the enemy, like they're proof that you're weak. But cravings are just signals, like notifications. And some of us get a little bit more notifications than others, and I understand that. So it is a little bit more difficult for some. The term you hear is food noise. So what you need to understand is that they do not control you. You are in control. If you can reframe them in your mind as notifications instead of commands, you can start to take their power away. Instead of thinking, I need that cookie right now, take a pause and think to yourself, do I actually want it? Or am I just stressed? What is that notification trying to tell you? That pause changes everything. I used to be a chronic fridge checker when I was a latchkey kid. Throughout the day, I would open up the freezer, I would open up the fridge, expecting new food to just magically pop up there every single time I opened it. I would get these random notifications throughout the day and it would prompt me to go get another corn dog or get another Hot Pocket. It was a signal that I wanted something. But looking back at this situation now that I'm 30, these notifications were really telling me that I was bored or that I was lonely. Research shows that reframing the way you think about cravings, specifically long-term consequences of these things, like how you'll feel after, you'll be bloated, it will take you away from your goals. Thinking about these things can reduce the reward that your brain gets and help you curb cravings this way. So start shifting your way to thinking about this to these short-term satisfactions, like, oh, this is gonna taste really good, or this certain food is going to make me feel a certain way. And start thinking about the, I don't wanna say negative, but the outcomes that are not in alignment with your goals. But I want to highlight and emphasize the importance of taking that pause. We all live busy and distracted lives, and it's very easy for us to go an entire day on autopilot. Taking this small pause before deciding if you want to eat this thing or not, again, just gives you that space, gives you an opportunity to think about if this is actually what you want or you're looking for something else. And you need to understand and know that you won't be perfect, especially in the beginning when you're trying to make this change. Give yourself grace that, like, you will mess up. That's okay. We all mess up. I mess up all the time. The goal is that over time, you start to make these different decisions. You start to change your habits. You start to change your habits in the way that's more in alignment with what you're trying to achieve with your health and with your fitness. Action item for you on this point is to take that pause. Next time you're craving something, take a pause, ask yourself, do I actually want this, or am I feeling a certain way? Am I stressed out? Am I lonely? Do I want interaction? Think about the payoff of reaching your goals and not just the pleasure of eating that thing in the moment. Number 4, set yourself up for success. One of the biggest traps people fall into is waiting too long to eat. You're busy, the day gets away from you, and all of a sudden you're starved. That's when willpower disappears and that whole bag of chips vanishes. One thing that gets me in trouble is when I don't have food prepared and ready to eat at home. That's when the Taco Bell drive-thru just calls my name because I'm on the way home. I'm driving, and then I start to think, man, I don't have any food prepared, but I do have some uncooked chicken, but then I gotta cook it, and then I gotta clean dishes, and I don't feel like doing that. I'll just go to Taco Bell, which I've done many times. And of course I gotta get a Mexican pizza. Here's the bigger picture. It's not about having more discipline in those moments. It's about setting up your life so that you rarely get into those moments. That means planning ahead, keeping just in case foods in the freezer or the fridge, microwavable rice and pre-cooked proteins, things like that. And even shaping your environment for success. And that means not having those high calorie snacks easily in sight, but instead maybe you have some fruit or better options that are easy to grab for you. But also in this new digital age, you have to be aware of your digital environment as well. If you're following all of these foodie accounts and you're watching mukbangs and Disneyland food vlogs, I love Disneyland food vlogs, by the way. Shout out to Magic Journeys. You're setting yourself up for failure because these are signs and these are signals to trigger you wanting to eat certain foods that you weren't even thinking about until you saw it. So you might need to do a digital environment cleanup as well. When you're proactive instead of reactive, weight loss becomes so much easier. You're no longer relying on willpower. You're relying on systems that you've already set up that making the right choices so much easier. Takeaway of this point for you is to create a success system, one that reduces the amount of decisions you have to make and keeps you from getting caught off guard. Side note on this one, decision fatigue is a real thing. Our brain only has so much energy it can spend on making decisions throughout the day. What shirt should you wear for the day? Should I hit snooze for 5 minutes? If you fall back asleep, you ask yourself again, should I snooze another 5 minutes? What should I cook my kids for breakfast? You can start to see how all of this gets very overwhelming. Last point, number 5, structured freedom. Now let's talk about one of the biggest reasons why diets fail. It's this all or nothing mentality. You're either 100% on plan or you've completely blown everything. That black and white thinking is exactly what leads to the binge and restrict cycle. You start to feel bad because something happened and then you use food to cope with it. And then you feel bad or guilty about those decisions and then you binge again because of that. And it's just this never ending cycle. The truth is that restriction will always backfire. And the better way to approach this is what I call structured freedom. This week I had truffle fries, the best truffle fries I've ever had. We love them there at the driving range that we go to. I knew we were going to go golfing with our friends that day, days in advance. So that morning I logged the fries in my food tracking app first thing. And what that did was I now know how much protein I need to hit for the day and how many calories I have left throughout the day. And so I can just plan around that. I put my treat in first. I enjoyed it and still hit my nutrition targets and lost weight. That is structured freedom. So plan for indulgences rather than strict restriction. Intentionally include the small indulgences or the things that you love into your plan. This will prevent binging and feelings of deprivation. Last tactic for you is to block off an indulgence window. Pre-track and include all of the foods that you love first, and plan your days around that. So plan the dessert that you want to have after dinner. They become part of a sustainable routine. When you start to plan indulgences on purpose, cravings stop being a threat. They're already built into your plan, so you can enjoy them guilt-free while staying consistent long-term. If you need some positive support and guidance on your weight loss journey, the first link in the description is where you can learn more about working with me through online coaching. All right, let's get into the big takeaway for this video. First off, thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you found this valuable, and I hope it helps you reach your own goals. So I want you to understand that the secret to sustainable weight loss and health isn't about avoiding cravings. It's about learning how to manage them so they fit into your life. And I want to encourage you and remind you that making these changes might take a little bit of time. And so I hope you took notes, or I hope you saved this video so you can come back and refer back to it. But give yourself some grace during this time and understand that, again, you won't be perfect and you'll slip up, and that's okay. We're all humans. We're not perfect, but I believe in you. Keep going. And I promise you, the payoff will be so worth it. I would love to hear what you thought about this video down in the comments, or if you have any feedback for future videos. But until next time, I'll see you soon.